Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm here at Wendford Bridge and I'm about to go out on the camel trail on my old push bike. I'm going to see how far I can get. I've got limited time. The weather is horrendous. It's not windy, it's nice weather conditions in that regard. It's just that it's foggy, misty, damp, and there's rain coming down intermittently in it. So I don't have a lot of views, but I'm keen to do it. I haven't done it this part of the trail for a long time. I did the Weybridge to Padstow section with my boys in the summer, and that was really good, and I was surprised they coped very well with that. But I'm going to do it or see how far I can get, at least do as much as I can. I've got time constraints as always, so I've really got to get on. But I've got to get some waterproofs on because I'm not going to stay dry in this weather. Now there is a little cafe down there. You can get some coffee, cakes and things like that before you hit here and start the trail. This is the old railway line that used to run from Camelford to Bodmin to Weybridge, and Weybridge on to Padstow. Well, so this railway was built in 1834, or the major part of it, and it was primarily used to transport sand for agricultural purposes, but it then went on to move China clay from the industrial works just outside of Wendford. It did actually see a passenger service from Bodmin to Weybridge, but that sadly closed in 1963. And that was kind of in line with the beaching railroad axes that took place over the time, where large parts of the rail network subsequently got disbanded, disused and mothballed. On top of that, it did continue to do freight till 1983, but sadly it did finally close at that particular point. Eventually it was bought by North Cornwall District Council, and it's estimated up to 400,000 people use it per year along its various stretches. Well, the going is good. Most of the track, or I'd say a vast majority of it, is easy going. There's no real hill climbs, and on top of that, the track, even when it is pretty much just a trail, is in good order for cycling, walking, running and dog walking. I'm starting at the quietest end at Wendford Bridge, and it's my favourite part. It's mostly woodlands surrounded by countryside and rivers on either side of you. So this is my favourite part, and I'm really enjoying this, soaking up the countryside in atmosphere. We will be going past the old industrial clay works, which, well, pretty much this railway would have serviced at that particular time it was built, and the buildings are in a pretty poor state of repair now, and the woodland has almost taken it back to nature. But it just demonstrates the industrial heartlands of Cornwall were a thriving industrial place at one point in time. Now, as you can see, I'm pretty lucky that I don't have too many people on the trail. If you're on a really nice sunny day or a weekend and it's really good weather, even this stretch will have a lot of people on it. Now, you will have to negotiate various obstacles, and that includes crossing some roads. I came across a diversion to the actual trail where some workmen were doing some maintenance, and it sent me out onto the lanes to do pretty much a excursion to come all the way back into the trail, but I had to go up and over a hill behind the trail. So yeah, I didn't escape doing some hill work on this particular outing. if you didn't have to do that excursion, it would have been completely all flat. Like I say, I'm really loving the autumn feel here. You can see the trees are changing colour, all the differences of leaves. There's so much on the floor, like leaves, acorns, beech nuts, all the berries, everything. It really does feel like autumn has come here really early, and it is way more advanced than where I actually live. So I'm really beginning to soak up that autumn vibe. Now I am making good progress when I'm actually cycling on this bike, and it actually does perform extremely well on good surfaces and flat conditions, like, well, what was an old railway line. It's built for this type of thing. You can just cruise along, you're in a nice comfortable sitting position, and you can just keep pedaling forever and a day. I am concerned about the tyres on the leaves because it's not knobbly tyres. But I'm being cautious of that. I don't want an accident. But I'm really enjoying the autumn feel here. And yeah, it's definitely more advanced than home. I'm actually going to probably not get to Padstow. I know I won't. I don't have time. I'm taking too much time just stopping, looking around and enjoying the countryside. But I'm hoping I can make one of my targets today. So I'll have to see if I do that. But I'm going to push on to Bodmin now. Now, even though it's wet, it's foggy and misty, it just adds something special to this, well, trail. Because quite simply, it makes it feel that little bit more enchanted. I'm not bothered by anybody. There's very few people on the trail. I've got the odd person cycling past me, and they're on these new electric powered push bikes, and I'm still pretty much old school on a ordinary push bike. But it doesn't feel out of place on this track. In fact, it feels perfectly at home. And there is a timeless feel being out here. It just feels nice and special. It's not like a purpose-made cycle track. You can feel that this belonged to an era and the past and a time long gone. And I'm really loving this and soaking in the atmosphere. This is a hill at the bottom of Bodmin, and you can actually see the old railway lines going across the road. I've got to make my way up the actual hill a little bit, come down a path, and then join the actual railway line again. From here, I kind of took a bit of a rest and got my jumper off. I was getting hot because I was actually moving at a fair pace, a fair rate, for the bike and pretty much what I'm actually riding in. But as you come out of Bodmin, you will find that there is the remnants of an old station, and you can see the old bit of working railway. Now this, I think, is kept going by a steam railway that actually uses this, and you can actually pay to ride on the trains and come up to here. And yeah, it's great that this is all in place, preserving some of the history of the line and giving us a glimpse of what was and the past. And now it starts to rain. So, oh, I still haven't done those brakes. You see, I'm looking pretty windswept, and I can pass for being a punk back in the 70s and 80s with hair like this. But interestingly, just over hedge, you'll see a vineyard. We do grow grapes for wine down here because of the climate. So there you go. a grape vineyard in Cornwall, or North Cornwall. Right, the river's started to get tidal along here, and the forest is up there, well, flanking the actual river. But you can see it's like a flood defence there, and a bit of, well, floodplain there. There's a bit of work going on this old iron bridge, and the wind has picked up now. We're getting down towards the coast. Even though Weybridge ain't fully on the coast, it's exposed. And there's Weybridge, where I'm heading to at the moment. You can see the river's burst its banks, and all that water is in on the floodplain here. They've had a, yeah, that really has flooded out there. Look at that. Could be a combination of high tides. It's been a full moon. I think my wife said it was the hunter's moon, but in any case, if you lived over there in Weybridge, you'd be a bit concerned about that, I reckon. Right, I really do have a Mad Max hairstyle going on with the wind against me, but it's getting a lot more people out on the trail, push bikes and that. And Weybridge is possibly where the Camel Trail centres around. 70% of most of the use and traffic. Where I've come from, it's generally the slightly more quieter part, and I'd estimate probably the other 30% of traffic using that. But yeah, I'm not going to get to Padstow. I've just spoken to the wife, so I've got to get some refreshments in Weybridge, get to where I want to go to if they're open, and hightail it back as fast as I can pedal. Right, I'm actually in Weybridge. This is part of the trail, but you go through the town now to join up. There's the river. So yeah, we've lost the farmland, woodlands, and we're back into housing. Right, down into the lower part of the town. Right, let's get to where I want to go. Definitely more busy than when I was out earlier. And just down here is where you'd be joining the Camel Trail, but I'm actually going to have a look in here. An army surplus shop. So this is one of my objectives, to get to the shop, the bunker in Weybridge. It's an army surplus shop, and kind of outdoor shop, so I'm going to pop in and have a look. Right, I picked up a drink and a chocolate bar, and I'm actually pedalling back now. Yeah, I think there's definitely a slight incline pulling out of Weybridge back to Wenford. I'm sure if I look online it'll tell me it's some sort of, it's a railway, so there will be information on the actual incline for it. But yeah, I've had a real good workout actually. I have done the whole line, or this journey, in one foul swoop on many occasions, but as I've said before, I car share, and I've got time constraints on the car, and I've got things to do at home as always, so I've had a very limited time frame, but I have achieved a few of my goals and we'll talk about those in a moment. Right then, some of you may have noticed that I was messing about with a white bag. Well, inside that white bag is a Dutch Army poncho. It's another one. You would have seen me use one up on Dartmoor in a few videos back, and it saved my bacon because quite simply I needed to get a smaller emergency shelter up, and it was just a ticket. And it's obviously a waterproof system, a poncho, to boot as a secondary use for it. There are other uses that you can use it for, but yeah, I wanted to get another one. I do have one, which the one I was using on Dartmoor, but it has a few poppers missing. I bought that second hand for, well, virtually just a few quid, but this one here is all intact. I want to get it because they're not issued anymore. They are not becoming rare or hard to find. It's just that they're not as plentiful, and people like myself are discovering the benefits of them. So I've been and got one, and between the two of them they'll see me out. So yeah, what did I achieve today? Well, I failed to make it to Padstow and back. That realistically wasn't going to happen in the time frame to get there, get back, and then obviously get back for the school run. What I did achieve was to get to Weybridge and get to the bunker, the army surplus shop, and get a Dutch Army poncho. So I've, well pleased with that. So I've achieved that. I've achieved some good exercise. When I got back to the car, I could feel a little bit of leg burn, and I could feel myself, I'd been working my lower body and down my back. So I've had a good little workout, and I've forgotten, even though it's relatively flat, how far a distance that it actually is to go there and back. Thirdly, what a fantastic day being out in the countryside on the trail or cycle track with, well, autumn really starting to hit. Yes, there's still a lot of green leaves on the trees, but they're turning, and there's so much of it on the floor. I came away with that nice autumn feel, that feeling that autumn is actually happening, and you just want to be, get home, get wrapped up, get the fire going. All those colours out in the woodlands as the leaves were changing. It felt really nice. And the other thing, where I was doing that cycle trail, Camel Trail, it's pretty sheltered from a lot of the winds because of, well, the geography of the area. It's only when you start getting into Weybridge I started to feel the winds were getting up a bit there. And obviously as you went further to Padstow, if we'd have got that far, you would have been on the coast and would have got buffeted by winds. But yeah, I really enjoyed that and really soaked in that autumn feel. And yeah, I'm loving it. So yeah, I've had some successes today, one failure, like I said, but realistically it wasn't going to happen. So I'm pleased with my purchase, and I feel good about the workout. And autumn, I just feel really autumny. So all that's left to be said now is take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys on the trail.